And here to break down the finer points of Cameron's speech is Haras Rafiq. He is the managing director of the Quilliam Foundation, calls itself a counter-terrorism think tank. Sir, thank you very much for coming on the program. And it seems almost odd, doesn't it? You're trying to combat the attraction of a nimble organization like ISIS that's very well versed in social media with a 5-year plan. How can that work?
I think one of the things that the Prime Minister is actually trying to lay down is the fact that over the last 5 or 6 years, we actually haven't had a government strategy or a plan on how they're actually going to prevent people from becoming radicalised in the first place. This counter-extremism strategy is not about de-radicalisation. It's about building resilience amongst our youngsters, amongst the girls, amongst our young boys, so that when ISIL and other groups, because let's not forget ISIL isn't the only group, Al-Qaeda are there, Boko Haram, Al-Shabaab, and a whole range of other Islamist organisations as well. When these people try to indoctrinate them, they've got the ability to push back. And that's the key.
How? How can that work? Because it seems, as you said, it seems as though for 5 years there hasn't been a strategy. How have they come up with it now, and how do you want to do that?
Well, we had a strategy before. If you look at from 2005 till 2007, there was a preventing violence extremism strategy.
But still, a lot of British Muslims have gone to Syria, have gone to other places, to Libya as well.
It's because we haven't been doing the primary prevention work. Simply, all the government's been doing is looking at this whole problem through legislation and looking at people once they've been identified as supporting groups like ISIL. What they haven't been doing is challenging the concept and the narrative of the utopian Islamist caliphate, challenging charismatic recruiters when they actually tell disenfranchised youngsters.
How do you challenge that, though? Because, I mean, you know that ISIS has a very sophisticated media wing. They, as you said, they celebrate death. They celebrate killing. And at the same time, they still have this attraction on people.
Well, the Quilliam Foundation is an organisation that used to be people who used to be former extremists and some former jihadists. One of our president used to be one of Osama bin Laden's lieutenants in Libya at one time before he disavowed the whole ideology and theology. If you want to actually take apart their ideology, you need to, first of all, take down the intellectual, the ideological, the emotional, social, and spiritual aspects of the conditions and the arguments that they use. That's the one thing. The second part of that is you actually have to promote what we believe in. We have to build a sense of belonging, as we used to do when I was younger, growing up in the UK. But we haven't done that second part, and we've allowed people to actually propagate their ideology without being challenged. But the key thing here is it's not just a problem for British Muslims. If we purely look at this through the lens of British Muslims or European Muslims or Western Muslims, what we tend to do then is polarise the debate. Islamism as an ideology, as the Prime Minister said today, is nothing other than a totalitarian, fascist ideology that's taken from Europe.
How do you take the attraction away? Because what you're telling me is you need to appeal to their reason. You need to tell them this, by all reasoning, this is a bad thing. But at the same time, what draws them there in many cases is emotions, isn't it? It's that feeling of wanting to belong to something.
That's one of the reasons. That's not the only reason. That's one of the aspects of the pull factors that charismatic recruiters will use them. The other thing is that charismatic recruiters will do is focus on the intellectual and the ideological. Tell them that this is your family, this is your home. British government doesn't want you, the state doesn't want you. We need to make sure that British Muslims growing up in the UK and non-Muslims understand that the West is not at war with Islam, and nor is it vice versa. That's what we need to focus on. How do we do it? Well, we do it in schools. We do it online. Just taking down websites on its own, as we've been doing in the past, doesn't work. Promote the positive values. Drown the internet. Flood the internet with all the positive messages. Use satire, use emotion, use a whole range of things that we have available to us in the same way that we actually ridicule and take down racism and fascism. That's what we're going to do with Islamism.
Haras Rafiq, thank you very much for joining the show today.
My pleasure.